5, 4, 3, 2.
Good day, Ohana Fam! This time we are going to travel and visit the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial. Come on, let's go!
What up, guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today, we're in DC, ready to bike. As you can see, we have our helmets on. Safety first! Lights first! I'm coming! Okay, so before we start this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Ring the notification bell so you never miss.
Okay guys, we are heading to the Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We're walking, they're biking. That's right. The Franklin Delano Roosevelt Memorial was dedicated on May 2nd, 1997 by President Bill Clinton. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, President of the United States from 1933 to 1945. Let's go! 40 years after the idea was first proposed to Congress. Using elements of stone, water, and unique landscaping, the memorial consists of 5 outdoor rooms that represent a prologue to the presidency and the unprecedented 4 terms won by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, or FDR. Over 4.5 tons of South Dakota red granite and 100,000 gallons of flowing water are used in the memorial. The prologue room features a bronze sculpture depicting FDR in a wheelchair. However, the statue was not part of the original memorial. It was added in 2001 following a campaign by the National Organization on Disability to demonstrate that after contracting polio at the age of 39, Roosevelt spent much of his life in a wheelchair and should be shown that way. Others asserted that FDR went to a great effort to conceal his disability. Private funds were raised and the statue was added. The chair in the statue depicts the one the president designed himself from a kitchen chair and tricycle wheels. The second room focuses on the condition that still faced FDR even 4 years after enactment of many of his New Deal programs. The Great Depression had become the worst financial crisis America had ever experienced. One sculpture, crafted by noted American sculptor George Segal, shows a line of men waiting for free bread in a city setting. Across the way, a farmer and his wife represent the struggles the American farmer experienced in the 1930s. And in a third structure, a man sits by his radio listening to one of the many fireside chats that Roosevelt used to communicate directly with Americans. Beyond these sculptures, the room honors FDR's social and public programs with his New Deal, including the Tennessee Valley Authority, the Civilian Conservation Corps, the Works Progress Administration, and other alphabet programs. Roosevelt helped Americans emerge from the depths of financial ruin. 5 bronze bas relief panels comprised of individual sections represent 54 New Deal programs, and 5 bronze freestanding cylinders covered with braille and other textural elements strive to make the memorial accessible to all. Between the second and third rooms is an open area that symbolizes the march to war. Room 3 features a scattering of blocks representing destruction. Several blocks are labeled "I hate war" from an FDR speech. A large sculpture of President Roosevelt sits nearby with his faithful canine companion, Fala, by his side. The fourth and final room includes a steel pool of water and a low-relief panel showing FDR's funeral procession down Pennsylvania Avenue. FDR died of a cerebral hemorrhage on April 12, 1945, barely a month into his fourth term of office and shortly before the end of World War II. Here also stands a statue of his wife, First Lady Eleanor, the only depiction of a First Lady in a presidential memorial. Behind her hangs the emblem of the United Nations, to which she was a delegate after FDR's death. A timeline of FDR's life is carved into the steps of this room's amphitheater. Without further ado, let's go back and visit and read all the quotes written in the stones. Oh, they're open. Okay, let's check here. I'm gonna put my mask back on. Okay, let's read this. Oh, Andre, don't leave your sister. It says Franklin's illness gave him strength and courage he had not had before. He had to think out the fundamentals of living and learn the greatest of all lessons: infinite patience and never-ending persistence. Eleanor Roosevelt.
So, how you doing?
He's smiling. Okay, come on. Do you have anything in there? Okay. Going back. We didn't get this part. 1933. This generation of Americans has a rendezvous with destiny. I pledge myself to a new deal for the American people. In these days of difficulty, we Americans everywhere must and shall choose the path of social justice, the path of faith, the path of hope, and the path of love toward our fellow man. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. No country, however rich, can afford the waste of its human resources. The demoralization caused by vast unemployment is our greatest extravagance. Morally, it is the greatest menace to our social order. Man and nature must work hand in hand. The throwing out of balance of the resources of nature throws out of balance also the lives of man. Among American citizens, there should be no forgotten men and no forgotten races. I never forget that I live in a house owned by all the American people and that I have been given their trust. I see 1/3 of a nation ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-nourished. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. It is time to extend planning to a wider field. In this instance, comprehending in one great project many states directly concerned with the basin of one of our greatest rivers, Tennessee Valley Authority. I propose to create a civilian conservation corps to be used in simple work. More important, however, than the material gains will be the moral and spiritual value of such work. Bye.
We must scrupulously guard the civil rights and civil liberties of all citizens, whatever their background. We must remember that any oppression, any injustice, any hatred is a wedge designed to attack or civilization. We accidentally missed the first and third.
We must be the great arsenal of all democracy. It says, I hate. I hate. I have seen war. I have seen war on land and sea. I have seen blood running from the wounded. I have seen the dead in the mud. I have seen cities destroyed. I have seen children starving. I have seen the agony of mothers and wives. I hate war.
Yeah, that's probably reasonable. Good job, Roosevelt.
They who seek to establish systems of government based on the regimentation of all human beings by a handful of individual rulers call this a new order. It is not new and it is not order.
How did you get so big arms?
We have faith that future generations will know that here in the middle of the 20th century, there came a time when men of good will find a way to unite and produce and fight to destroy the forces of ignorance and intolerance and slavery and war. More than an end to war, we want an end to the beginnings of all wars. Unless the peace that follows recognizes that the whole world is one neighborhood and does justice to the whole human race, the germs of another world war will remain as a constant threat to mankind. Eleanor Roosevelt, first United States delegate to the United Nations.
Yeah, he's so tall though. I can't get on her shoulders.
The structure of world peace cannot be that work of one man, or one party, or one nation. It must be a peace which rests on the cooperative effort of the whole world.
Yes.
Mountains, since there was too much water in the utility vault of the memorial. The vault was flooded with over 7 feet of water. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. Let us move forward with strong and active faith.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, freedom from fear. Freedom.
This is the end of the memorial of Franklin D. Roosevelt.
How far away is the G?
Alright, we'll see you next time. Stay tuned for more traveling to Washington, D.C.
Nowhere to be found.